The so-called TikTok mall scammed me, so I created this video to tell people what I'm about to reveal and alert them before they become victims. I've delayed making this video because I've had a terrible cough the past few days and I'm still not in the best shape, but I must do this video before we have more victims. I will pause to rest when I feel the urge to cough. So without further ado, let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Mohammed and today I want to share my story about the so-called TikTok mall and TikTok store, which happened to be a huge scam, and how I burnt my fingers with them and lost over $123,000 in just 2 months. I will also show 2 examples of how they trick people into confiscating their money. I'll try to keep this video under 30 minutes if possible, and in case you don't understand my accent or you want the full details, I'll leave a link below this video, which includes this detailed PowerPoint presentation, images, and some videos, which you can use to spread the word without changing the meaning or facts. You may also pause this video and take notes if you want. I started my so-called TikTok store on November 21st, 2024 and lasted 2 months with them under the so-called TikTok mall before I realized it was all a scam. My story began on November 10th, 2024 when I met a girl named July on a dating or marriage site called Moz. She insisted I give her my number instead of the other way around, which I found a bit strange. So I did anyway, but she disappeared afterward. I felt she was, or she could be, a scammer, so I deleted my number on Moz. However, shockingly, I received a message from her at 11:05 the following morning on November 11th, 2024. So I thought, let me see where this takes us. Unfortunately, it took me to the most undesirable and costly destination. She introduced herself as Green Erbaso, 33 years old. She said that she was born in Bucharest, Romania, to a Romanian father and an Australian mother, and that she moved to Sydney, Australia in 2015 with her parents. She also showed me her Australian passport to prove she was telling the truth. 2 months later, when the smell hit the fan, I checked the validity of her Australian passport with the Dubai police, the Australian consulate in Dubai, and the New South Wales police in Sydney to find out it was a fake passport, just like everything else related to TikTok mall and TikTok store. Even her name might be fake, but the pictures I'm about to share with you are accurate. As you'll see from this slide and the next one, she sent me photos of herself, her sister Irina Erbaso, and a Far Eastern girl that I don't recall her name or nationality. She told me they all have TikTok stores and they introduced her to TikTok mall as they're ahead of her in the game. This is a typical scammer's day. They selfishly steal people's money to buy nice clothes, wine and dine in fancy restaurants, and drive fancy cars. Look at them, don't they look like angels? But they're worse than the devil. These pictures should be all over the social media, letting the world know so we can stop or reduce this scam. Because her passport and probably her name are fake, I'm sharing some of her pictures because they are 100% real, so that you can share them all over the net as a TikTok mall scammer, so we protect people from becoming victims. So please do the same as with the previous 2 pictures, and don't forget to check the link below for more. Here are some videos she sent me daily, especially before bed, to wish me a good night. That's what I mean by her images being 100% real, because I see her daily in videos. And she mentions my name and some of them like these.
Good night and sweet dream, my love, Muhammad. Don't forget, dream of me. I'm here, Muhammad. Hi, Muhammad. I'm getting ready for dinner. Message you when I'm back. Hi, honey, Muhammad. I just finished my lunch. What are you doing?
No disrespect, but as you can tell, there's no way she's Australian or the daughter of an Australian mother, especially for someone who has lived in Australia for the past 10 years. As I said, I didn't want to doubt her or rock the boat as we had just started. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt until we meet, but we've never met. Throughout our 2-month virtual relationship, we communicated via WhatsApp, except once when I insisted on seeing her on a bottom video call to ensure she was the same face. Her images are the only thing that isn't fake. I also insisted on her sending me a goodnight video or an image or picture of her every night to ensure she's the same girl. There are around 29 years between us, and I wasn't comfortable about the age gap or our marriage relationship. But she kept saying age is only a number and that she had already told her parents, who don't mind as long as she's happy. So I was honest with her and told her what I do, blah, 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 because she was going to be my wife. When I told her that besides my real estate brokerage firm, I have an Amazon store selling my private label, she was very excited and said she also has a TikTok store called Lotto Shop under TikTok Mall. She sent me the link to her TikTok store with the TikTok logo, which I found very impressive. She kept talking about the benefits of having a TikTok store, its profitability, and all the bells and whistles. It was mouth-watering, of course, because I thought it would complement my Amazon store. It didn't click to me that TikTok store is not TikTok shop, but she fooled me with the renowned TikTok logo. So I stopped being doubtful and started trusting the girl. I believed that we were in a long-lasting marriage relationship, and I was preparing myself to join this fictitious TikTok mall with my TikTok store. So I started searching Google and found some reputable websites that I highly respect, like Fit Small Business and AMZ Scout. Although the statistics in their blogs are correct, it didn't cross my mind for a second that they were talking about TikTok shop alone, which has nothing to do with TikTok store. Since the names are very similar and the logo is exactly the same, I ask our beloved bloggers to distinguish the two clearly in their blogs. TikTok Mall and TikTok Store use the same famous TikTok logo, but they have nothing to do with TikTok Shop. I wonder why TikTok Shop hasn't disclaimed its relationship with TikTok Mall scammers, primarily because they use their renowned logo. They could have said something like, TikTok Shop has nothing to do with TikTok Mall or TikTok Store, and anybody who deals with them is at their own risk. These stats and the logo, not to mention my future wife's recommendations, boosted my confidence in this fake mall. So I decided to join them. She told me I could only join by an invitation from an existing store owner. And who could be better than my future wife? So in brief, I joined this fake mall for 3 reasons. 1 is trusting the girl. 2 is trusting the information that I obtained from some reputable websites and bloggers without distinguishing between the TikTok store and TikTok shop, as people and scammers use the store and shop interchangeably. And 3, trusting TikTok logo, as it would never cross my mind for a second that TikTok would cheat and ruin its reputation. Seeing the world famous TikTok logo linked to both, you probably wouldn't think there's a difference between TikTok Shop and TikTok Store. And this is where I fell into this trap. As I mentioned earlier, on November 21st, 2024, I had my TikTok store up and running and sold some items, which was very exciting. So a typical store process involves the buyer, the store, and the supplier. Here's a typical sales order in 3 steps. A buyer places an order through the store and pays the full amount to the supplier. Within 48 hours, the store places the same order with the supplier and pays the order value less their commission. When the buyer receives the order, the supplier pays the store the full value. It's effortless, sweet, and straightforward. You repeat this several times a day and make thousands of profits daily. I had 1,000 products in my store, and here's what a typical store looks like. You have all the items with a brief description and their prices. If you want more information about the item, you just double click on the picture and you will get more information. Everything looks real, great, neat, professional, but everything is fake. A few days after opening my store, I needed more capital to cope with the demand, but I didn't have it on me. However, my lovely scammer supported me a couple of times by funding my so-called TikTok store wallet for $31,200, although we had never met and we were at the very beginning of our relationship. She did it to expedite the process and to ensure we didn't miss the profit as we were one family. This made me trust her even more, as nobody would lend me a hand like she did. She also promised to fund $40,000 to settle my fine, as we will discover later. So where on earth could you find an angel like her? She was too good to be true. And when I was ready to fund my TikTok store wallet to increase my working capital, TikTok Mall instructed me to fund these UAE local bank accounts, since they didn't have a local presence in the UAE yet. So I thought, okay, as there was no other choice. So between November 22nd, 2024 and 10th of January 2025, I transferred $123,000 to these accounts. So as you can see from my dashboard, my working capital increased 4 times in 2 months, from $123,000 to over $463,000, with a net profit of over $309,000 due to processing 1,070 orders with a turnover of almost $1.2 million. Looking at these figures, you think, wow, no more poverty or financial issues. You can work from anywhere in the world. All you need is a smartphone, an internet connection, and you're on your way to riches. But all these numbers turned out to be just numbers. Now let's look at a couple of real examples that happened to me where they trapped me to suck more money. On November 9th, 2024, an alleged buyer messaged me asking if I could fulfill an order of 100 bags, each costing around $1,400, totaling almost $140,000. I was chuffed and excited, so I said yes, I could, and I processed her order successfully. 2 days later, on December 11th, 2024 to be precise, the same customer ordered 20 pieces of 4 different items totaling over $123,000 without confirming with me as she did with her first order. I told her to find another store to fulfill her second order as I could not afford it, but she refused and complained about me to the so-called TikTok Mall customer support. The mall's rules require that the store to process the order within 48 hours, otherwise the store will be fined 30% of the order value. And if the fine is not paid within 48 hours, the mall will impose another fine of 30% of the working capital. So now you have two fines to pay, and they won't let you use your wallet to pay the penalties. So you are forced to bring fresh dollars, or they will freeze your account and confiscate your money. So with this order, I had to pay a fine of $37,000, which is 30% of the order's value of $123,000. They'll tell you you can withdraw it after 3 days. However, since I could not pay it within 48 hours, they imposed another heavier penalty of $87,000, which was 30% of the working capital at that time, which was $290,000. When I told my to-be wife about it, she said not to worry. She and her sister would fund this $87,000 to help me out. So I thought, thank you very much. A few days later, she told me that she had a big row with her sister over it, and she could only help me with $40,000, and I had to find the remaining $47,000. To them, $47,000 real money is still good, adding to the $123,000 that I've already injected. And here's the second example. Just as I was about to finish the first fine of $37,000, another alleged customer messaged me on January 1st, 2025, asking me to confirm if I could fulfill his order for a watch worth almost $141,000. So I said, yes, sure. But shockingly, he ordered 2 watches. But luckily or unluckily, I had that amount in my wallet. So I processed it successfully and was happy with the massive $76,000. You see, the user, the buyer, pays the supplier the full amount, which is in this case almost $282,000. The merchant, which is me, the store owner, I pay just $205,000. So the difference, which is about $76,000, is the profit, which was huge. And barely 1.5 hours later, the same customer ordered 24 watches totaling over $185,000 without confirming with me like he did with his last order. This is a carbon copy of the previous customer's 2 orders. I asked him to cancel his second order or find another store to fulfill it, but he refused, just like the previous customer did. So I contacted the so-called TikTok Mall customer support and canceled his second order. Otherwise, there was no way in hell I would pay 2 more penalties when I was still struggling with finding the first penalty. So do you see the trap in the 2 examples? The so-called TikTok Mall has 2 goals to trap store owners. 1, sending orders way above the store's working capital, where the store must process within 48 hours or face a 30% penalty for the order's value. And if the store doesn't pay this penalty within 48 hours, they impose another 30% penalty on the working capital. And 2, whether the store can or cannot pay the penalties on time, it must bring fresh money and inject it into its wallet. Otherwise, they will freeze the store and prevent it from withdrawing any of its money. The fact is There are no stores, no customers, no suppliers, no orders, no working capital, no profits, no nada, nothing, just numbers. Whatever money you've injected has gone to their bank accounts already, leaving you with illusion. I doubted the girl several times, but didn't want to rock the boat, especially since we hadn't met yet and we were at the very beginning of our relationship, and I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. For example, I asked what language they use at home, and she said English. But no disrespect, her English and accent are not those of the daughter of an Australian mother or anyone who has lived in Australia for 10 years or more. Around 7 p.m. on January 3rd, 2025, she confirmed coming to Dubai with her sister the following evening. 2 hours later, she sent me this weird message signed by July, which was her name that we didn't use except when we first met on the Moz site. The message briefly says that her dad was rushed to the emergency room, and then she carried on saying that she would fly from Doha to Sydney at 20:30 the following day, which was 4th of January. I waited for almost an hour before replying and thought, is this a coincidence or pre-planned? She also sent me 2 images of Qatar Airways airplanes during daytime when she flew at night, but they didn't make any sense to me anyway, as they were just parked on the tarmac. I tried several times to have her send me pictures to prove that she was in Sydney, but there was no way because she wasn't there. On January 13th, 2025, when I borrowed the $87,000 to pay the fine so I could withdraw my money from my wallet, I told my to-be wife about it, and she was delighted, especially when I told her that I didn't need her $40,000, which she could use towards her dad's medication. I assured her I'd pay the $87,000 in a couple of days. On January 17th, 2025, the girl sent me a message on WhatsApp and blocked me immediately. I didn't realize she blocked me. 2 days later, she unblocked me and messaged me expressing her disappointment in why I hadn't replied to her last message when I did. Only then did I notice that she blocked me, so my messages did not go through. I tried to call her and sent her a couple of SMS messages, but there was no reply. Her behavior made me wonder why she blocked me without asking for her $31,200. At the same time, TikTok Mall froze my store to pressure me to rush with the payment. At this time, I realized I was scammed for sure, so I thanked God for not giving them the $87,000. And the reason why she didn't ask for her $31,200 was because it was just a number and she did not pay me a real dime. On January 21st, 2025, although I knew the answer beforehand, I sent a message to the so-called TikTok Mall customer support to withdraw $200,000. As expected, they insisted on me paying the $87,000 first. But by that time, I discovered their game already. On January 22nd, 2025, I sent them my final message revealing what I knew about them and gave them 2 options to resolve the issue. 1 is to close my store and let me withdraw all my money, or 2, create a video, post it on social media and send it to major TV channels, newspapers, bloggers, vloggers, influencers, you name it. I've screen recorded and pasted this message on this slide and the following 2 slides. You can pause this video to find it in the link below or take notes if you want. This is the recorded message, and this is the pasted message here. Again, as I said, you can check the link below for if you want the full kind of message. And this one shows is a continuation of the same message, and this one is the last part of the message. Okay, all I heard back from them was that someone from their legal department would communicate with me, but how could criminals have a legal department when all they do is illegal? Now we've reached our final slide. So in conclusion, we need to protect ourselves from scammers. So please, please, please like and share this video as much as you can to ensure it goes viral and to let the entire world know about it, especially the poor TikTok store owners, before they lose more of their hard-earned or probably borrowed money. Undoubtedly, scammers have their plan B, plan C, plan D, etc. They might change their logo, they might change the company name, so we must be alert and do proper due diligence and searches before joining any get-rich-quick schemes. I'd kindly ask our beloved bloggers, vloggers, and influencers to alert their followers by distinguishing between TikTok Shop and the fictitious TikTok Mall and TikTok Store. I'm more than happy to be interviewed by influential parties such as TV channels, newspapers, bloggers, vloggers, etc. to spread the word about these scammers. May God bless and protect us all from vicious and greedy scammers.